Hey, so today I'm going to explain how to change bicycle tube, inner tube. So I'm more skilled in lawnmower inner tubes than bicycles, but because I've only changed bicycle tubes a few times, but it is a similar thing for both. And the disclaimer is that both, even if you do the job as carefully as possible, you're still quite likely to put a hole in the tube. You see, when I put 4 new tubes in that tractor there, and I evidently put a hole in one of the one of the tubes, because I had to place it. I've put a hole in a lot of tubes, but it's just because, in general, with the tools you have, you can't do a lot. And also, bicycle tubes are very flimsy. Here we go. Here's one of the thickest tubes for a bicycle I've ever seen. Looks kind of big for it, don't it? I think it's the correct size, so I've kept it inflated. Possibly that wasn't a good idea. Goodyear. It says 24-inch. Let's see, I better not lay it down on that piece of metal. It might pop it. Okay, so first we need to take off the old one. Let me get a tripod for this camera so you can watch me. Alright, let's take off that back tire. So, if you're changing the rear tire, you might want to, especially if your bicycle has gears or different speeds, you might want to check. You might want to take a picture of how the chain is surrounded. I was using a pair of adjustable wrenches. I'm going to take off this bulb on each side. Tight. It'll be a lot easier for me if I go get it. Okay, here's my easy solution. Oh, maybe I was tightening it. That could have been a problem. Don't even have to take the bolts out, the nuts off all the way. Just loosen them. I believe that'll do it. Nuts loosen the back tire. Wants to come off. Oh, you need to take off brake. Well, loosen up this bolt. You don't want to let the wire out all the way. Probably tighten it up. This thing up again. Without letting the wire out all the way. That's a big issue if you do. Getting it back up can be a big issue. So it's easiest just to deflate the tire after you loosen it some and squeeze it out. Good. And this tire's already deflated. So let's see here. This side's nut is going to have to come all the way off because it's got some kind of guard over the shifter thing. There we go. Get the chain on hooked. I wonder if my chain, I didn't take a picture of it last time I had it off. I wonder if I rounded it wrong. It's possible, and it's possible why I have all these screws with the gears skipping. I've had for a while. Squeeze between the brakes. And let the wire all the way out to separate the brakes more, but they're hard to get back in sometimes. Now, for the second part of the job, that'll be change out the tube itself. Alright, gonna take the tire off the rim now. So first thing, you want to get pretty much all the air out of the tube, because even if it is flat, leaking, well, I guess it's all the way out. So I've got a valve coil remover. You just stick it into the valve stem and back out with a little valve coil here. But if you don't have that, you might have a tire valve stem can that has the remover tool on it. Some camps come with that. Alright, so when you stick your screwdrivers in here, you don't want to stick them in any further than getting the actual tire off, because if you stick it in far, you're going to hit the tube and puncture it. Of course, if your tube is already punctured and you're not going to patch it, you're just going to replace it, which is what we do nowadays. Usually, you don't have to worry that much, but it's good thing to be in good practice for when you're going to put in a tube without puncturing it, hopefully. So first, this tire is coming off pretty easily. I'm not sure if it's because it's been heated up by having the sun shining on it or what. So it's coming off easily. Gotta try not to stick the screwdriver any further into there. It'll help, because if you stick it in too far, you'll go past the bead of the end of the tire and let go in there and hit the tube. Next, there you go, one side's off, and now the other. And that usually can just pull off. And try to just add with the area with the valve stem so you don't tear that. There's the tube. Somewhere. Okay. There we go. Got that tube out. Inspect this. Make sure. See, you have a rubber thing around it, keeping the spoke ends from poking the tube. Rubber thing. I'm going to make sure that it punctures the tube. Doesn't look like it. It's alright to me. I'm on Bicycle Expert, though not too bad for movies. Alright, now your new tube. In this case, this is not even a new tube, but I don't think it is. Don't even know why I got this one. Let the air out of it. Okay, want to test your new tube, make sure that it takes air without it doesn't seem to leak. Preferably dip it in some water after you've filled it, make sure you don't see any bubbles coming up from it after you put the cap back on there. And then you want to take out the valve coil, let the air out again, then you can put in your tire. Alright, let me make sure I get this rotation correct. Dip it this time. Let's see, so it's going this way. That would be backwards, because on the tire, for some reason, there's a rotation. Alright, so it's going to go like this, though. Now, go and put the new tube into the tire gently. Put a hole in it. This is pretty thick tube, it feels like, so maybe it'll last a while. Thicker than most. They tend to be pretty skinny in general. The mower tubes can be thicker than bicycle tubes at the time. Size of tube for your tire. I think this is the right size. I can buy this tube. Alright, so find your opening for your valve stem. Alright, and I'll start with putting that end on. Okay. So, when you pull that in, it'll probably try to get at least one end hooked in there. Easier to leave one end out at first, one side of the tire. Okay, in case you're wondering, that part is called the bead, the part of the tire that goes inside the web. Hopefully that won't get it back inside the tire. Sometimes I'll put a nut or something. Yeah, I'm gonna get something to clamp that and keep it from going in. Valve stem can pull in and then you lost all your work. Better to have a smaller thing to clamp than this. Yes, I've got one. I'm not gonna go grab it. Just clamp it on right here. Just clamp that on right there and keep that from being able to go in on its own. Alright, so we got one side on, and now just gonna do the same thing. You didn't take it off, doing your best not to stick the screwdriver in any further, not even a bit further than you have to get the tire on there, because the tube can be easy to punch. So it's not going on too well, honestly. I'm not real good at bicycle tubes, I don't change them much. It's easier just to work it around with your hands sometimes. Lawnmower tubes can be tires can be a lot tougher than bicycle tubes. It feels odd to me to be able to use my bare hands to hook some of this around. There we go. Now we only can hope that we didn't put a hole in our tube. I don't think we did, but it's possible. Alright, so I wonder if somebody kind of suspect this tube must have came from the trash now. Seemed to be perfectly good though. Put in the valve stem. So maybe, I wonder if somebody had bought the wrong size. I don't even remember where I got this tube. Alright. Flight it now, see if it takes air. And then after that, I'll take it over and put it in, check if there's any bubbles coming out. That would mean there's a leak. Alright. I think I might be all in here. I'm going to stick it in some water. Let's go see if it makes any bubbles. If it don't make any bubbles, that means it didn't leak in air, and if it does, hopefully it will only be a small leak and I can put up with that. And I'll need to let the air out again so we can squeeze it through the brake pads, put it back on the bike. Let me figure out what causes the chains on a bicycle to slip like this one does. Not very skilled with bicycles, honestly. Okay, let's see. Floats good, don't it? Let's see if I see any spot where bubbles are coming out. Well, it looks like some bubbles coming out of the hub, but then that's not even where the tube is. Don't see anything. Honestly, it looks to be fine to me. It's hard to tell for sure. This isn't particularly clean water. I don't see any bubbles though. I guess I'll be fine, honestly. So let's go and put it on the bike. Front tube on the bike leaks a bit. That's not enough to worry about, really. If it does leak worse, I might need to put one of these tubes in it. Feels like a strong tube when I put it in. Okay. So, alright, so now I'm going to take the valve core remover tool again and working still. That's good. Take this removal tool, remove the valve door again. There we go. And now I can put that in the bike tube back on the bike. So what I'm going to do now, let's see. I'm going to double check my picture and see how that chain was routed. So make sure I put it in the correct position. Then squeeze that in place. Okay, I checked that. Let's put it on. First got to squeeze it through these brakes. Well, I have to loosen up the brake wires a bit, but you don't want to let the wires here on the brake all the way out because it can be hard to get back in. Push it back out. There we go, gonna pop through there. And now I'm going to chain. Put that back on the sprocket. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and reinflate that valve before I lose the valve stem completely inside the tire. It wants to get lost in there. Good. So I started the video again. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to put on these nuts again. Nice and tight. Alright. There we go, got both of those real nice and tight. Good. That time. Nice and forward. Alright. That's how it's done. And now, yes, I need to adjust these brakes. So, let's see here. So, you see this. This is the brake. So you're gonna need to, before you can take off that wheel, on the front or rear, you'll need to loosen up that nut and then loosen this up some. But you don't want to let the wire all the way out, because as you can see, it'd be very hard to feed back through the hole. At least if you got a hole, I think some of them have a little slot instead, that'd be easier. But then, in this case, it didn't open up wide enough, so I did have to let the air out and squeeze the tires some to get in between those. But even so, I'll need to adjust that again now. So I'll loosen up that nut and pull it pretty tight. So you're not going to want to tighten up the brake too far. You need to tighten it, adjust it so that it it'll just turn freely when the brake is not being squeezed, and then when you squeeze the brake, it'll stop the bike. Yeah. Let's see. So I don't feel like it's touching. Just to tighten up for my liking. Not like a spongy feeling brake. Tight brake. Clouds gone over the sun. Don't rain. Because I'm almost done with this project. Brakes are working, you might have to adjust them a bit more, but you want it pretty tight here so that it'll still roll freely, but then when you squeeze the brake some, it'll pull it nice and tight, kind of out like that much play in it, you see. Maybe a little more than that usually, but I like a really tight brake. But yeah, you gotta tighten that up too. And it's about the same process for the front wheel, though you don't have to bother with the gears and all that. But that's about my description of how to change a bike tube. You can watch other people who probably have a better instruction than I do, because I don't do this much. In fact, I rarely change a bike tube, but that's my description. Alright, bye.